stood beside your doorway, holding shoes I never wore. Your jacket stayed on the chair, like it still waited for your shoulders. You spoke in careful sentences, like glass placed on a table. You said nothing was wrong, yet packed your name into a bag. I nodded like I understood, while counting cracks on the floor. You looked past my eyes as if I was furniture useful once, now in the way. Middle left exactly at my highest, yes, when my hands stopped guarding exits. If staying had a price, I paid it fully. You walked out at my peak. Played your footsteps, measured from wall to wall. I learned how absence speaks by counting plates for one. Your voice still lived in objects, just not inside the room. You said this was kindness, I call it bad timing. You chose the moment I stopped out in your chair. You laughed exactly at my highest, yes, when my guard was finally down. If devotion needed proof, I gave it. You walked out at my peak. If leaving was mercy, why did it require precision? You waited for my open hands, then stepped away. Some exits wait for maximum impact. Some goodbyes choose their target well. You didn't leave me learning. You left when I was all in. You arrive with rules carved into my skin. Your voice decides when I may speak. I count my steps so I don't upset you. Even my smile waits for permission. You check my phone like it owes you answers. Your hands explain before your mouth does. I keep rehearsing reasons to remain while every room starts closing in. I tell myself this weight is normal, that devotion must demand a price. But every night my body argues and I lose that fight. If staying means erasing myself, if loyalty turns into control, then what you call affection is the slowest way to take someone apart. You apologize like it's a routine, then repeat the same behavior. You say I'm lucky you remain here, like survival is a favor. I shrink my needs to keep you calm, I rewrite facts to keep you close. I'm trained to die patience could transform behavior, and suffering could earn respect. But belief can turn into a cage. When one person sets the terms, I stopped asking to be treated right, just to keep you here. If staying means erasing myself, if loyalty turns into control, then this devotion isn't saving me, it's teaching me how much I'll tolerate. This love is killing me. This love is killing me. This love is killing me. I stood beside the sentence you once said out loud. No candles, no rings, just breathing skin. You said it stays, no matter the cost. I wrote it down like a law on paper. Your mouth said forever, your actions erased it. A vow spoken straight, then treated like a rumor. I built my days around your word, you treated it like it. I didn't ask for heaven, I asked for what you stated. If your sentence had weight, why did it fall so fast? If your promise cracks this easily, don't carve it into someone's body. I didn't fall for a story, I trusted a sentence you chose to say. Not this deep, not carve this far. I replay the night you swore it stays. Same room, same tone, same face. You walked away untouched while I carry the proof. Words don't bleed on you, they cut only one side. Say less if it means nothing, say nothing if it won't stand. A promise spoken carelessly lands harder than a closed door. I don't scream, I don't chase, I just stand where you left meaning behind. Not this deep was all I needed, but you went further than you should. Some words don't leave marks on skin, they settle where nothing heals. Not this deep. I stood 3 steps behind your jacket at that narrow street cafe. Your phone face down, your smile arrived from a name that wasn't mine. My glass stayed full, my mouth stayed closed, while your chair leaned its way. You spoke his name like it belonged where I used to stand. Your eyes avoided mine on purpose, like guilt had learned direction. I counted tiles between our shoes to stop myself from shaking. You didn't leave for something stronger. You stayed because I stayed too much. You didn't pick a better story. You picked the one that asked for less. So call it chance, call it timing, but write this down without defense. It wasn't him that won you over. It was me you loved less. This ending needs no villain, no excuses left to send. It wasn't him you chose over me. It was me you couldn't choose again. I kept the chair beside the door untouched, as if your coat would still rest there again. The room learned how to carry your absence without asking questions I can't answer. Your name stopped landing on my phone. The walls grew used to unfamiliar weight. I stopped counting steps outside my place because none of them belonged to you. I read the signs I used to avoid. Every pause said the same thing. What stayed was only habit, not a reason for you to return. No more waiting for a knock that won't arrive. No more saving words you won't read. If leaving was your final sentence, then this is me learning to close the page. I packed away the version of me that believed distance meant temporary. Your silence drained the nights to stop expecting anything. I don't check streets for your outline. I don't rewrite endings anymore. What's gone stopped asking permission, and I finally listen. There's clarity inside acceptance, a calm that doesn't beg. I stopped mistaking absence for something unfinished. No more rehearsing conversations alone. No more defending what already collapsed. You chose to exit without turning back, and I chose to stop standing in the doorway. And this isn't anger, this isn't defeat. This is acknowledgement without decoration. No more believing you'll change direction. No more shaping space for someone absent. If this chapter ends without return, then no more becomes my resolution. The door remains closed, and this time I don't reopen it. The room still stands the way it did. Two cups remain on opposite sides. Your coat stays hanging near the door, yet nothing here asks me to stay. You sit across, your eyes stay flat. Your voice replies but carries none. We trade our lines like daily tasks, as if we're strangers sharing space. The air between us learns restraint. No rush, no pull, no second glance. Your hand rests close but never moves, as if it waits for other plans. I read the change inside your face, not loud, not sharp, but clear enough. Something between us stopped arriving, and neither side asked where it went. We didn't fall, we didn't run, we simply stopped reaching each other. Nothing broke, nothing burned, we're standing We talk of plans without detail. Your smile shows up out of habit. I trace the space you used to claim. It fits my hand but not your name. The night arrives, you check your phone. I stare at walls I've learned too well. The silence speaks in careful ways. It says enough without a sound. I stopped expecting any shift. You stopped pretending there's more. We keep the form, remove the weight. A shape remains but not the pull. We didn't fall, we didn't run. We simply stopped reaching each other. Nothing broke, nothing burned. We're standing still, no longer the same. If this is all we're keeping now, say it clean, don't turn away. What once a line now walks apart, side by side, no longer the same. I won't ask you to return. You won't ask me what I need. We learned how to stay polite while meaning slowly packed its bags. This is not a scene or phase. This is what remains uncovered. No more reach, no hidden weight. We are here, no longer the same. The door stays closed, the room stays still, and we remain no longer the same. I packed the room with ordinary reasons. A chair still warm, a cup half full. I don't erase what made me softer. I just stopped standing where you stood. Your jacket stayed on the back of my sheet, like it still had a say in my night. I learned how absence learns my address without knocking, without a fight. I could list every wrong detail, but I keep the parts that didn't bruise. Some things survive by being chosen. That's the only power I still use. I lead with the version that treated me well, not the one that taught me how to kneel. Walking away doesn't cancel what smiled at me. It just stops letting it steer my wheel. Your name still fits inside my mouth, but I don't say it out loud. I'm done negotiating with nights that ask why staying felt so loud. I won't rewrite what once felt right. I won't crown it as a lie. I fold it neatly into myself and let the rest learn how to die. I live with a version that treated me well, not the one that emptied my sleep. Some good things don't ask to be carried forward, they ask to be carried deep. If I kept only what cut me, I'd turn sharp against my skin. So I saved the days that held my hand and closed the door without giving in. step outside your name. Not everything left behind is a wound. Some things take kind, even the same. I don't drag you forward with me. I simply walk, still standing tall. Framed our nights like a public show. Seats were packed, though I saw no crowd. You spoke in lines already set. Every smile placed, every pause planned. Your phone lit up behind your back. A private stage I wasn't casting. I stood nearby, unpaid, unseen, watching you rehearse my place. I traced the seams around your face, cosmetics cracking under lamps. Your hands applauded your own scene while mine stayed still unused. I wasn't chosen, I was you, a prop you placed to sell the scene. You kissed me only when eyes were near, then cleared the room and changed the script. If this was real, it never lived. I read my name inside the lie. You didn't want a partner here, you needed someone to clip on cue. You dressed me up in borrowed lines, taught me how to stand beside you. Every promise served a crowd, never meant for private rooms. Your laugh arrived on perfect marks, left nothing once the doors were shut. I learned my worth by ticket price, cheap enough to keep around. I saw the script beneath your skin, ink still fresh and tan intact. No accidental misstep here, just practice done too. I wasn't chosen, I was you, a prop you placed to sell the scene. You kissed me only when eyes were near, then cleared the room and changed the script. If this was real, it never lived. I read my name inside the lie. You didn't want a partner here, you needed someone to clap on cue. Say it plain, no curtain call, no crowd to blame, no roles to trade. Stand alone without the lights and tell the truth without a stage. I wasn't chosen, I was you, a prop you placed to sell the scene. Take your bows, collect your praise. I'm done being your disguise. This ends right here, no second take, no more standing in your frame. You kept the act, I kept the cost. That's how your game was played. Curtains down. No applause. hallway keeps blinking and shuts down again. Screens go blank where your number once lived. Shoes by the door still face the same direction, but no steps arrive, not even by mistake. The fridge hums once, then gives up trying. Street signs freeze mid-sentence, mid-thought. Every socket keeps waiting for something they used to enter without knocking. I count the rooms by touch, not sight. Furniture learns my shape instead of yours. Every switch refuses my fingers, like the house itself took sight. When you leave, the world doesn't scream, it shuts off. No warning, no drama, just nothing responding. I stand inside a city that still exists, but nothing works unless you're here. Phones lie heavy, useless in my hands. Cafes serve faces that don't register. Traffic keeps moving with no concern, as if absence has rules only for me. I walk past places trained to recognize us. They stare back like strangers hired overnight. Every routine loses its function, like tools designed for someone else. Walls remember how you leaned against them. I don't. The floor keeps record better than I do. It still expects your weight. When you leave, the world doesn't scream, it shuts off. No warning, no drama, just nothing responding. I stand inside a city that still exists, but nothing works unless you're here. Generators fail one by one inside me. Every plan stops mid-use. I wasn't built for solo operation. Some systems require two. When you leave, the world doesn't scream, it shuts off. I press every switch and get no reply. If this is living, explain the purpose, because nothing functions unless you're here. I stood by the doorway of a borrowed cafe. Your coat still hung where my fingers once pressed. A stranger laughed using lines I survived. You wore that calm, I helped you rehearsed. I paid for the hours you now give away. Sat through the nights while your temper ran loose. I learned your habits before you improved. Someone else reaps what my patience built. I carried the weight when you wanted to escape. I stayed while your name cut sharp in my chest. Now you appear so carefully arranged, like damage never touched your skin. If being better was all that you needed, why did I have to bleed through the lessons you fixed your life after leaving my hands? That future was written with my endurance. She smiles at the version I beg to exist. Get Sundays I negotiated for years. You speak so soft, like you were born that way. I train that voice through collapse and restraint. You didn't arrive clean to her arms. You arrived practiced, measured, prepared. Every improvement carries my cost. Every upgrade remembers my name. If being better was all that you needed, why was I chosen as the trial? You stand complete, dead beside her calm face. That finish line ran through my sacrifice. I don't curse her steps or her sleep. I curse the math that favors relief. Some people are exits, not partners. Some pay, others receive. If happiness was the shape of improvement, then I was the cost you denied. You lived the life I absorbed for years. It should have been me at your side. Say my name without saying thanks. I already know what I was worth. I stood across your doorway, counting marks on the wall you never fixed. Your voice stayed even, steady, like every answer already rehearsed. I asked where I stood when things turned heavy. You checked the floor, not me. That was when I learned how distance can exist inside a room. You said effort has limits, that some fights cost too much. Your eyes avoided the question. Yeah, your mouth spoke enough. If standing for me felt optional, then tell me how pressure filled the air. You called it being careful, I call it leaving me there. Your hands stay clean of conflict, mine carried every weight. I learned the price of caring when only one side pays. You spoke of balance and reason, said walking out kept you safe, but safety built on avoidance writes its cost on someone else. If standing for me felt optional, then tell me how worthy was I? If walking away came easy, what did I ever mean in your sight? I'm not asking for rescue, just honesty carved in plain view. If I was never chosen, say it, how worthy was I to you? I stopped blaming the mirror, I stopped fixing your doubts. Some people don't leave loudly, they step aside and let you wear it out. This isn't bitterness speaking, it's clarity learned too late. Worth isn't proven through begging, it's shown by who stays engaged. If standing for me felt optional, then tell me how worthy was I? If leaving required nothing, what did I ever signify? I released the need for answers, yet this truth stays in view. Someone who hesitates to stand already gave their answer to you. Packed your jacket back into the drawer, button still counting nights on the floor. Your coffee cup stayed warm too long, while your phone kept glowing someone else's name. I stood still when you cleared your throat. That sentence weighed more than your coat. You said your smile has learned a new place, and mine just practiced staying straight. I traced the doorway with my eyes, like lines I'll cross but not tonight. Go on, my love, don't look behind. Some roads only open when you walk alone. If staying here keeps you smaller, then leaving me is your growth. Fits another room now, different walls, a cleaner sound. I won't ask what her hands are like, some answers poison the night. I learned that keeping you would steal everything you're trying to build. Go steps stop, not as a cage, not as a sign, just proof that I once mattered, even if I'm not your side. Go on, my love, don't look behind. I refuse to be the weight you drag. Carry my absence lightly. refuse to be the way you drag. Carry my absence lightly and build your smile without me. I stood beside your doorway with borrowed keys inside my coat. Two names resting on one phone, one bed that I was taught to split. I counted steps across the floor, each step heavier than the last. I rehearsed 1,000 sentences, yet none could stand upright. I fed you half a version, left the rest behind my teeth. I smiled while numbers stayed unlocked. Another body knew my heat. I signed my name on honesty, then crossed it out with lies. You trusted every word I gave. I traded truth for nights. I didn't slip, I didn't drift. I chose the second door, and every step I took from you was written on my face. Some apologies arrive too late, not because they're spoken late, but because the damage already learned my name. I'm sorry isn't clean enough to wash what I have done. I broke the rules you live by for the sake of time. Your hands searched for answers, mine stayed under sheets. I learned how to perform devotion while practicing deceit. You built a place for two of us. I rented space elsewhere. I wore your trust like clothing, then left it on a chair. No accident, no confusion, no excuse to sell. I knew the weight of every step and stepped away as well. Some apologies arrive too late, not because they're spoken late, but because the damage already learned my name. I'm sorry isn't clean enough to clear the trail I made. I chose a thrill that cost your crowd for the sake of time. If honesty had volume, this room would split apart. I'd hand you every reason and still stand far behind. I won't beg you to stay near, I'll beg you to stay near. I won't dress this as fake, I only stand here naming wrong without asking you to wait. Some apologies arrive too late because trust remembers everything. Say my name without you think. Say my name without you think. Say it plain, not kind. I carry what I ruined for the sake of time. I leave the door unlocked hollow step. I watch you speak to rooms I never enter. Your name fits places I was never given. I count my worth by seats I'm not assigned. Standing near, yet treated as a margin. You ask me questions you won't let me answer. Your eyes confirm what words refuse to grant. I carry parts of you that you ignore, while you collect approval elsewhere. I rehearse being smaller. When you arrive, I measure myself against what you applaud. I am close enough to give, yet distant enough to be denied. I am present in your need, absent in your pride. You lean on me when daylight asks for proof. At night you rename me as convenient. I learn your way, your habits, your demands. You learn my use, not my possession. I stay prepared for moments you won't claim. You stay prepared to walk past what I am. I give without a title, stand without a place. You take what I provide, then turn away your face. I don't compete with crowds you praise. I don't request what you withhold. I only mark the cost of standing here, unchosen yet involved. Being near does not secure a claim. Being useful does not earn a name. I remain where distance wears your shape, and call it extraordinary. I counted every message that never came through. Screen still glowing at 2:30. I practiced lines in the bathroom glass, like reasons could change the past. You sat across, eyes fixed elsewhere, hands steady, voice fair. I spoke my name like it was a crime, asking for space inside your mind. They say giving more will open a door, so I emptied pockets on your floor. Every effort laid in a straight line, still nothing leading toward mine. Why does trying feel like begging on my knees? Why takes pieces of me. Then tell me, who is this meant to be? I watched you laugh with borrowed ease while my words waited for their turn to breathe. You said some people just don't connect, like effort is a flaw to correct. I traced circles on a chipped table side, pretending I was fine with your divide. Every signal pointed straight and clear, yet none of them led near. You told me patience would earn a place, so I slowed my pace, changed my face. Still standing outside your view, with nothing left to prove. Why does trusting sound like I'm too much? I'd just care and cross the line you won't touch. If effort turns into something obscene, then tell me, what does wanting even mean? Maybe some doors open only one way. Maybe this was sealed before today. I carried weight you never claimed, still ending up the one blamed. Why does trying make me smaller than before? Why does honesty leave me outside the door? If giving myself earns no reply, then tell me, why did I even try? I stopped counting messages after tonight. Some answers don't arrive.